I need your help. Because something really weird keeps happening. Everywhere I land, a woman appears. Look. So she is a comms officer in the planet Pacifico Del Rio. She's someone's mom in Fine Time.
Now I'm going to start off by saying that the reason that I decided to go through with watching Doctor Who to the very end is because I made a promise with my big mouth that I would give this a chance. For those who don't already know this, I said that after I stopped watching the Jodie Whittaker crap, that I was gonna give the next Doctor Who a chance and give it a fair shake. I tried my hardest to keep my word, and so when we got the new Doctor for series 14, or rather the new Doctor Who, I did exactly that. I reviewed every episode and was honest with all of them. I loved the Boom episode. It's the only episode out of this entire series that I liked. As for the Doctor himself, while he's fun and cute, I still walked away feeling as though he wasn't truly the Doctor. Yes, I do feel as though he did a much better job than Jodie Whittaker did, but I still didn't feel as though he sold it for me. Usually by the end of the series or a season, you get that, but not with him. It felt like this guy was cosplaying or had prior engagements and only decided to do this on the side. The only exception was during the emotional moments where the only thing that he could do is cry very well. People think it's a joke, but here's a tiny compilation of him doing just that. And this isn't even all of them.
Music is mine!
Must be part of the Pantheon. Come. That's okay, that's right, that's right, that's right.
You see that?
Let's move it down.
One of my sights!
Kiss.
I'm Jack.
Pressing forward.
That thing killed him. Not him.
What was it?
Finished. Now stop grizzling and fix it.
Yeah, bitch.
I am the incessant. No, because I have to.
Because I traveled to all those worlds. I thought it was fun. I swear to you, this is real.
So yes, let's go through why I simultaneously loved the ending and then ended up hating it. Now, I understand there are people who loved it, and this is no shade against you personally. Mature people would understand that. I hate that I have to put that disclosure, but here we are. And I have to be honest, people who take joy in shaming others for not liking what they like need to go suck a big fat bird banana, because that attitude is straight up narcissism. So no shaming people who like it either, and people who liked it, no shaming people who didn't. Or do whatever, who the hell am I? So we start off with Doctor Who coming back to the unit headquarters, where we see Rose again, the Dollar Tree one, not the other one, and another version of freaking Pilot from Farscape. Well, the Doctor comes in, and everyone is greeted, "Hello, I see you again." And the entire time I'm thinking of this, my main question remains, where is David Tennant's Doctor? Is he still not on this earth? Because with all the stuff that ensues over the next 2 episodes that comprise the finale, I would think that David Tennant's Doctor wouldn't just sit there and let that happen. Doesn't he still have his own TARDIS? Did he pick up and leave? Or was he like, nah, I'm retired, so I don't exist anymore? None of that is ever spoken for. None of that is ever mentioned. They just pretend it never happened. Bro, Rose is huge. Damn, it's like Clifford. Anyway, after the introductions and this new handicapped person that seemed to have replaced the other one, where is the woman that was in the wheelchair? Anyway, I'm not gonna complain because this guy is far more likable than that woman was. But they just pretend that she just stopped existing. Was she not a part of the unit? I thought she was important and kind of worked with everyone where the doctor was concerned, but she just dissipated, I guess. Or maybe she's part of another organization, but I would think with something like this, they would have brought her on as well. But it's okay, because I didn't really like her either.
Even I got that.
That is why we've been watching her. Because it spells targets, we know that. But why?
It's not just that. Never mind the anagram. Look at her name. Isn't that the point, Doctor?
So they talk about this old woman that has been seen across time and space. The doctor talks about his granddaughter, and she could still be out there, and this woman could be his granddaughter.
Is Time Lords can regenerate their faces like a disguise. So we look different, but we're still the same.
How is that possible when you're gay and have a completely different personality than everybody else who came before you? I mean, I know every single one of the other Time Lords had their little qualms and personalities as well. So what do you mean you're still the same? Same in what regard? Because everyone has been different so far. Peter Capaldi is a little bit more cynical. Matt Smith's doctor is a bit more jovial. But at the core, the one thing I'll say that across all the doctors that I've noticed, with the exception of this one, is that they're not pussies. Even though they're scared, they will stand in the face of danger, and when they are ready to show how powerful they are, they don't back down. They stand up with a confidence that makes us believe they're the doctor. Dare I say it, Jodie Whittaker, even though I don't like her, I like this doctor slightly more than I like her, and I don't like her at all, she had more of that than this doctor did. So please tell me, the same what? The same host? Because you're literally different people, with the exception of your experiences and your memories, which also isn't completely consistent. Anyway, so Ruby says, don't change this face. And he's like, I'm gonna keep this face for a long time. I don't know what that means. Does it mean the show's gonna go under and it's not gonna come back until 20, 30 years later? And I guess by that logic, you can say that you died with the face, so you kept it forever. So this woman is a super genius, and she's made some technology. Mel is undercover with her, trying to figure out more about her, but everyone says that the woman is really nice. The other person who's a mystery, the other mystery woman, is Ruby. Doctor tells everyone about the snow. They don't know who her mother is. And there's this big mystery surrounding Ruby's mother. Now, it was heavily implied throughout the previous episodes that Ruby's mom could potentially be a god or some entity or something. There is some heavy significance on Ruby's mother, and that's why Ruby is able to make it snow, and she functions almost like a very mild version of a TARDIS. She's 100% human though, right? How? How is this possible? That is the overarching thing from the beginning of this Doctor Who series.
Yeah, but it snows.
It snows?
Oh, it really snows.
It was snowing the night that Ruby was born, and it keeps snowing all around her. Actual snow, which means that that night is so raw and so open. The last thing that I should do is take a time machine back there.
So they have all surveillance by the church when Ruby was left, but it's so staticky and snowy that they can't see anything, but they have plot convenience, never fear, and something that can sharpen the image so they can see what was there. Ruby's mom is like, I'm coming with you no matter what, and I'm just gonna force myself into your space. And I can't blame her, because if there's a chance that Ruby can see her real mother, I know that's something her adopted mother would want to experience alongside her. Meanwhile, Ruby's grandmother is left in the care of the neighbor, this sweet old lady.
Girls, let's find that woman.
I would love a cup of tea.
One thing that I can say is that at least they use an actual Jamaican woman rather than someone trying to do a Jamaican accent, because I can't tell you how ear-splittingly torturous that is.
No, be a sister, no devil, no dopey. Everything gonna be irie.
Ew, no, what?
I can only imagine that's how I sound when I try to do accents, but at least I'm doing it for fun and to be silly. If you're gonna do it for a movie or show, and we're supposed to believe the characters are actually from those specific countries, then get people who are actually from those countries or who can do the accents properly.
I would love a cup of tea.
Would you, sweetheart? Well, we'd all like a lot of things that aren't going to happen.
I'm dead. So anyway, the little old lady is, well, we don't know if she's evil or not, but she's definitely more than what she led on to be. Maybe she's supposed to be some kind of segue into a villain. And we learn about the doctor's granddaughter. And one thing about this that we didn't really have, I mean, maybe it was in some of the other classic Doctor Who's. I didn't watch the classic Doctor Who's. I watched from Eccleston, and that was a very long time ago, so I might be missing some details. But he has a granddaughter, and apparently people didn't know about it. And they're like, why don't you go back and see her, bro? And the excuse that he gives is just so strange to me.
Okay, the grandchild exists, and you've got the TARDIS, but you've never gone back to see her. Why not?
You've seen my life. I bring disaster. Kate, disaster. What if I go back and ruin her?
So if that's how you actually feel, why do you keep picking up companions knowing that you bring disaster wherever you go? Are you just using them for fun's sake? It's kind of messed up. You won't go back and put yourself in your granddaughter's life because you know the disaster follows you, but you'll gladly do it with innocent human beings and then shed crocodile tears when something bad happens to them. Not to mention, let's just say he's afraid of hurting the timeline. We've already seen that he's inconsistent with that, and he doesn't even really care about that to begin with. Look how many things they've interrupted when they've gone back in time. Remember the whole Mavity situation that they never brought up again? You'll hurt everybody else, and you'll hurt your companions and mess with their timelines, but not your own family. I feel like the Doctor just sees humans as pets or something, and poor Ruby doesn't deserve this. After Discount Pilot from Farscape says that Susan is classified as a human, and there's nothing otherworldly about her, that makes things more confusing. So they gather maybe she's not evil yet. A phoenix is just a bird until it burns. A caterpillar doesn't know it's a butterfly, so she might not be what they think she is yet. So anyway, they go to the time window, and Ruby introduces herself to Colonel Chidozi.
Hey, is that a Manchester accent?
Proud to say, Mom. Cheetah Mill.
Oh, I'm Ruby. I'm from Tameside.
Good to meet.
So I'm guessing they're both from Manchester or something, and the reason why I'm pulling this up is because they use it in a little bit, which doesn't make any sense.
Morris Gibbons,
Yes, Doc?
get this VHS wired up to that system, because we are going to recreate Christmas Eve 2004. Come on!
It's not that exciting. He's so extra. I mean, David Tennant was too, but it's like, dude, relax.
There it is. We're legend.
Me and Mum watch every Christmas Eve.
So as they're in the time window, the Doctor is telling Ruby to recount her memories, which, again, how did she know if she was a baby and couldn't see anything? But anyway, and it starts snowing, but the machine hasn't been turned on yet.
Time has tides and hollows and secrets. And this fixed point on Christmas Eve is the wildest I have ever seen.
So that was a fucking lie.
Two of those lads.
Of all the adventures you've had across all your lifespans and time and space in the universe, the cosmos, that is the wildest thing you've seen? Really? I don't know. I don't know. I call Cat, man. I think he's trying to big her up or something, because that doesn't make any sense. I know I haven't watched all of Classic Who. I haven't watched any of it, but I would gather that this is the wildest, not the freaking creeping angels and all that other stuff. This, okay.
December the 24th, bring it back!
Bring it back!
Bring it back! Guess who's back?
So then they're hugging each other when they weren't a minute ago. And look, time has brought them back in a fixed image sort of video hologram thingy-wingy. Looks like something from out of the freaking Ring. The Doctor keeps talking about, we have given it the greatest power of all. Memory. Time is remembered. Memory is time. I don't really think that's necessarily how it works though, because what if you have a bad memory? Then is time broken? I know there's a lot of magical timey-wimey elements in Doctor Who, but this was just such an odd saying to me because he's basically suggesting that time exists because it's remembered by humans or organisms. Time is a physical dimension that's independent of human perception or memory. Time flows regardless of whether it's observed or remembered by anybody. So that makes no sense and kind of goes against the whole element of Doctor Who traveling through time and space. Time passing is a fundamental aspect of the universe. You know, it's governed by laws and physics. Memory is a human construct, or maybe an earthling concept for like certain species. Earthlings in certain species have memories. We don't even know if jellyfish have memories. So since there are so many other alien races that probably don't have memory in the way that humans would, whose memory is it that determines whether or not time exists?
Greatest power of all, memory. Time is remembered. Memory is time.
Yeah, see what I did there? I said something completely nonsensical, but because I said it, it makes sense. Here's where it gets more interesting, though. If you're saying memory is time, this is implying that memory somehow equals time. Okay, which is what he said. But memory involves recalling past events. It's not equivalent to time. It's a mental process, a function of the brain. But time is a continuous progression from the past through the present to the future. Time can be measured with clocks and other devices. Memory, however, is subjective, and it varies from person to person. You may remember this moment in time, but somebody may remember it completely different. How does that factor into anything? Memory is flawed or incomplete, just like the video footage. Time in the physical dimension remains consistent. Now, I know this is a show, and they play upon fantastical elements, but what I liked about the older forms of Doctor Who is that they were able to say things or make things more believable, make it easier to immerse in the story because the pseudoscience that went along with it didn't try to explain away too much, like how David Tennant explained it, right?
1969, that's where you're talking from.
Afraid so.
But you're replying to me. You can't know exactly what I'm going to say 40 years before I say it.
38.
How is this possible? Tell me.
Not so fast. Yeah, people don't understand time. It's not what you think it is.
Then what is it?
Complicated.
Tell me.
Very complicated.
I'm clever and I'm listening, and don't patronize me because people have died and I'm not happy. Tell me.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
See, that made more sense, because I knew if they tried to write too much into it, it would fall apart quite easily. But now, when you make a blanket statement about memory being time, you force people who are watching this to, in fact, believe that you can somehow alter time with memory. It was very weird. I feel like they were doing it as a means to move the plot along. It just felt like it didn't belong here. Or maybe I'm just stupid. So then the woman starts walking towards them, Ruby's mother, and this is creepy. It looks like something from Out of the Ring. And it actually made me think, wow, good job, Russell T. Davies. You actually do have a horror bone in your body. But will it hold up? This story in this episode thus far, halfway in, I dare to say it was really good. I liked where it was going. I was impressed. If we could have something of substance and quality as the finale, then I would be okay with that.
Say it properly.
That is more than just a glitch. It's like she's shadowed.
Mom?
You can't move.
She's my mom. Can she see us?
I don't think she can, but you can't move. You can't.
You hear him saying over and over again that she cannot move. You gotta keep everything exactly as it was. The doctor himself is saying this, and he is emphasizing it repeatedly.
Gotta keep everything exactly as it was, but she's gonna walk by, look at her face. Look, here she comes. Please, Morris! Morris, what is happening?
Power makes flooding like crazy.
I want to see her.
Ruby, don't move. We need to keep the image fixed.
So you saw all of that, and that wasn't just a coincidence, right? That thing flashing past so that Ruby couldn't see her. Interesting. Why can't we see her? What is this big mystery surrounding this person? What is she? So Chido's whatever is like, I can't see him. And then the TARDIS is coming back. This is when the doctor took the time to come back and try to figure out what was going on. He comes out, coming back in time in 2004 because of goblins. And then he makes that saying again.
That TARDIS is almost solid. If time is memory and memory is time, then what is the memory of a time machine?
Now, while this was still cute to move the story along, it still, to me, is kind of sloppy writing. It's the kind of writing I would do years ago. My Land Before Time horror fanfic stuff, where I would just make up some pseudo stuff as the characters were trying to think their way out of something to sound philosophical, completely aware that it's stupid in the realms of reality. And I know that this isn't based on reality, but these are people that are being paid to write this stuff. This is part of a bigger franchise. So the phrase he says about time is a memory, memory is time, feels like circular logic to me. It's like saying bread is butter and butter is bread. They go together, but they're not the same thing. Time is a dimension that takes away regardless of whether anyone is there to remember it. And memory is just our brain's way of holding on to past events. So mushing them together doesn't make them interchangeable or profound. It just makes it very confusing and weird. And then to add to all this confusion, he says, what is the memory of a time machine? So we factor in that the TARDIS has some sort of sentience beyond what we can grasp, I guess. But even if we grant the TARDIS that, we take that into effect, right? It still doesn't mean that time itself is a memory or that memory is time. The TARDIS's sentience doesn't magically turn these abstract concepts into interchangeable entities. All of what they're seeing here is a playback of a past event. So it's a little confusing for me because whose memory are we talking about here? Because Ruby starts off with this time window thing talking about the memory. Is it her memory and the Doctor's memory? As far as I know, it's not the TARDIS's memory. The TARDIS isn't in there. It's not the TARDIS remembering something. It's just the simulation including an accurate depiction of what happened, unless the TARDIS somehow is so tied to Doctor Who that it's seeing through his memories of the TARDIS itself, which still doesn't make sense.
That's me.
Oh my god, we didn't notice.
The original me. Coming back in time in 2004 because goblins. But I had to go back to the church to save little baby Ruby. That TARDIS is almost solid. If time is memory and memory is time, then what is the memory of a time machine? Oh, no, she's still there.
So if we try to parse this question with the TARDIS sentience in mind, what exactly is Doctor Who asking? Is he questioning if the TARDIS has its own memories of the event it experienced? Okay, if so, sure. The TARDIS has its own record or memory of the events that it's been through. But that's still not the same as saying that time is a memory or memory is time. It's just saying the TARDIS, as a sentient entity, has its own experiences.
Coming back in time in 2004 because goblins.
Call me cynical, but it feels like they wrote this in as an attempt for the Doctor to sound philosophical, but it starts collapsing in on its own weight, and the rest of this story starts collapsing in on its own weight. Even if the TARDIS has memories, those memories are distinct from the nature of time itself. It is a time machine, it flows through time, it's a sentient being, but so is Doctor Who. The Doctor asking this is essentially reiterating that the TARDIS has its own memories, something that I guess most people already knew. So it's a redundant statement masquerading as a profound question. Like, what is the sight of an eye? We know that the eye can see, we notice the TARDIS remembers and has been through these things with you. So it doesn't really shine anything new on the nature of time or memory. The TARDIS's memories don't really solidify this premise. It just convolutes it in such a way that people would be like, wow, I didn't understand shit what he said. Must be really profound. It's an attempt to sound deep without actually delivering depth. Anyway, that's just me nitpicking.
Oh, no, she's still there. Your mother is still there. Why has she stopped? What is she doing? Can we see? Why did she stop? Did she see me fighting?
Anyone, can you see?
Doctor, I think she's crying. She's given away her child. She's crying her heart out. I took her in, darling. And she's safe.
Of mercy. I mean, fair enough. This could just be one person's interpretation, though. She could be snickering. I mean, it's probably unlikely, but that's another possibility, too. She could be blowing her nose because it's cold. She could be searching her phone. Wait, 2004 headphones. Yeah. Okay. She could be searching her phone. Wait a minute. Okay, I have to look that up. Never mind. She could have been looking at a map, okay, to see where she was or where she should go next. She could have been making a phone call. I mean, it could have been anything. They can't even see her properly. So how can they really ascertain exactly what she was doing in that moment?
Tell her I made it. Mom, you should see what I've done. I traveled the universe.
What if she didn't even want you? Like, what if she was just like, this thing is so annoying, I don't ever want to see it again. I don't care, just it is what it is. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. It must be hard for people to have to make that decision, but there are some people I gather that are like, I don't want this kid. I don't care. I want to live my life. I don't want it coming back to haunt me. Don't tell them who I am. And then people are like, I gotta go find you. That's why the whole adoption thing kind of like creeps out some people, because they're like, okay, just adopt, just put it up for adoption. Yeah, and then when you don't want to have a child, you have to worry about the 16-year-old showing up at your doorstep when you've moved on with your life, now wanting a mommy. It's like very complicated and awkward and uncomfortable for both parties. I know that sounds heartless, but that is the case with some of those things. And as much as it hurt, unless you can hide the fact that you adopted a kid, they're gonna find out through DNA testing or otherwise that you're not their real parents, and then they're gonna wanna find out who their real parents are. Even if they say, nah, I don't care, they didn't want me anyway, there's always gonna be that part of them that doesn't have that closure to know why. Why exactly did you give me up?
I'm not talking about Positrack, I'm talking about me. How long did you look for me before you gave up? How long were you riding in that car before you realized I wasn't in it? Exactly how long?
All right, we didn't lose it. We just left it. So what? The dude's doing fine. Look at him.
How could you do that to me? I was only 8 years old. I was just a little kid. Do you have any idea what it's like to be a kid and have nobody around to talk to? No one who cares if you're alive or dead? Every day you just think you're worthless and there's a void in your life?
Oh, come on,
Lighten
honey.
up, buddy.
Lose that frown. When you're down, stare at the clown.
That's right.
Hey, stop sitting after blocking the camera. The camera can't see. I don't care about that. Hey, I don't care about that. I want to see it for another 25 years.
Who are you? What kind of person did I come from? It's in every human to want that. And I'm sorry, but the parents that gave up their child for adoption because they didn't believe in terminating pregnancies or whatever, now things are awkward for them because they just did not want that. What if they were taken against their will and that was forced upon them and they were minors and their parents did not want them getting an abortion? So they were forced to carry that through, but they really didn't want a child. It's just not something they ever wanted. Or even if they're not a minor, still, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't believe in killing, so just give the child away. I never want to see them again. I just don't want to ever have that part of me connected to who I am. Not everyone's meant to be a parent, and then you go back searching for this person that wanted nothing to do with you, and you're like, Mommy, Daddy, I'm your daughter that you left with these. I left you there for a fucking reason. It sounds heartless, but it's kind of messed up too for the kids. I feel so bad for them. So this whole thing is cute and sad, and I feel bad for Ruby because any kid would think that their parent in this situation when they don't know them would think their parent's an angel and they love them and there's a pretty good reason why. Sometimes there is no good reason. They just didn't want you. They just didn't, not you personally, they didn't want to be a parent.
My
Memory can't be time then. Your memory cannot be reliable. If time depended on memory, we'd all be gobbledygook. Memory keeps changing from person to person too, so. And then why does memory keep changing?
My memory of this keeps changing. Time keeps changing.
She's pointing at you.
So this is the part when the doctor had come back when the woman started pointing at him, directly at him. And everyone's like, what's she pointing at? Is it you? And the doctor's like, I don't know why. So there's some heavy significance here as to why Ruby's mom was pointing. And the way she turned around and did it too gave it some emphasis. Look at how she does it. She's like, I'm standing, I'm judging. What could this mean? So here's a part that made me so freaking mad. Everyone's freaking out like they can't see her. They can't see her face. And Colonel Chidozi is in there and he's like, yeah, there's nothing behind you that she's pointing at. And the doctor is so curious now to see what's going on.
Did you see you? Did my mother see you?
I don't know why she was pointing at me. There's nothing behind you, Doctor. Anything? Anyone?
Does she know who you are? Morris, can you magnify the woman?
My hands on fire!
My husband's no chill. He said maybe if he had longer arms. That's kind of fucked up. He was joking. He's like that. So Chidozi is like, she's pointing at you, but she's also pointing northwest. And he's there with his gun for whatever reason. I don't know what he thinks the apparition's gonna come out and bite him in his nuts or something. I really don't know. But you know, A for effort, or E for whatever, always being prepared and all that jazz. You never know. These people have dealt with a lot of different things, so it makes sense, I guess, to be on edge.
She's also pointing northwest. Is there anything there?
Colonel Chidozi, you will return to your position.
Just to see if there's anything there.
Doctor, you said not to move.
I know. But just look.
Because you don't care about him, right? You didn't want Ruby to go because you said that. He was very emphatic with commanding people to not move inside of this time window thing. Yet Chidozi can go look because the doctor wants him to. If that's the case, why doesn't the doctor go? Why does somebody else have to go? Why didn't he go? I would have loved a little bit more explanation as to why he can't move. Okay, Ruby can't move, he can't move. Is it because Chidozi wasn't part of the memory? Why he's allowed to just go? But he doesn't say that. He doesn't explain and say, well, Chidozi's not part of the memory, so he's all right. They made it sound like anybody who's within the area cannot move while inside of it because that messes with things. But yet, he goes back on his own word. So as the doctor is happy with, or comforting Ruby, no one cares that Chidozi has not spoken or has come back out or said anything. They just conveniently forget him as though he didn't exist. Morris tries to get their attention.
Doctor, can I ask?
Morris, a second, please.
No, I'm sorry, I've got to ask. What is that?
See, around this time, I am equally as flummoxed as I am impressed. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere, because this is something that's not supposed to exist back here, and somehow you have this apparition, this manifestation of God knows what, some mysterious entity, and nobody knows whether or not this thing exists in the past or in the present. So of course, the Doctor and Ruby are like, what do we do?
You're just stay where you are. Josie, where are you? Are you in there? Winston, are you in that shape?
Colonel Gedosi, you will report at once. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now this feels like the ground starting to shake and a whirlpool forming in the midst of the sand before a gigantic sinkhole drops everyone from off their feet. I'm liking this. This is scratching the mysterious sci-fi itch for me. And I'm thinking, did Moffat write this? And that's a very huge compliment, because Moffat does suspense and horror extremely well in the context of fantasy. So I was actually surprised. I'm like, don't mess this up, Russell, because you got something here. You're doing a good job. And so far, the episode 7, which is the first part of the finale, has been really intriguing.
Doctor, when is that thing? Is it now, or is it 2004? What is it though? Has it come from another?
I don't know.
Is it us? Has it come from us?
I don't know.
Colonel Gedosi, please report. Morris, can you get any readings?
That thing is hot, he's cold, he's radioactive, he's dead, he's everything. I don't know.
So aside from him killing the immersion of not feeling as though he's selling it, being scared, the blonde lady who's in charge of everything sells the fear factor. I believe her whenever I'm seeing her, who's seen a lot of things, exclaiming through implication of the tone of her voice that this thing is to be feared. It is unknown. I've never seen anything like this. Now I'm quiet and on the edge of my seat.
I know his name. It's the Beast. Winston, where are you? Are you still in? Please report! GML. Please report!
Where are you, GML?
GML. That's him! He's alive.
That's the part I was saying was kind of stupid, because it's like, oh, you're from Manchester. And then he's like, I'm from Cheaton Hill, and she's from something another, or he's from somewhere. It doesn't matter. They use that. Nobody else saying anything to him mattered, but what she said mattered. Who knows? Who cares?
Then where are you?
I am lost.
Okay, but we can find you. We can help. Just look around and tell us, where are you?
I am in error.
Colonel, I need to know. Can you tell us what's happening?
It's seen me. It's seen right into my soul. And it's so old. What is it? Waiting. What is it? It's been waiting for so long.
So that was special. Now we're like, what is he talking about? Why? What in the horror movie? That's a great introduction plot, or introduction to the plot of a horror movie. I could see it going so many directions. And this is near the end of the episode. Beautiful. So of course, they go in and they see what's left of Chidozi. And it looks like he's been dead for 100 years. And all of a sudden the doctor's like, I'm so sorry. Like he didn't know what was gonna happen. And the look on her face, the judgmental look of condemnation on her face is great. Because had he told Chidozi, like everybody else, to stay still, it would not have happened to him. But she doesn't say anything. So they make a decision to go and meet this Susan person. Oh, the crying is starting. He starts to crying. Minute you see the mouth start quivering, it's like, oh boy, here we go. This is your one trick pony situation. He gets really mad. He's like, I killed him. I like how Mel's like, are you gonna fix it or not? Are you freaking done, bro? Why does everyone always have to calm him down and hold him and tell him it's gonna be all right? He's the fucking doctor. So they try to pick apart what this thing could be. The doctor meets Susan Triad and she's like, you know, I don't remember seeing a guy like you. I don't remember a handsome chap like you, because of course everybody who meets a doctor has to always mention how handsome he is. Don't remember them doing that for Matt Smith, because I mean it would have been, never mind. She says all she wants to do is get some sleep, and he's like, what are your dreams? What do you dream about? What sort of dreams? The woman starts getting really upset, and he starts calling out all these different things that were elements to the other episodes that we saw.
Do you dream about a girl called Lindy? Do you dream about a place called Pacific Hotel Region? Do you dream about being an ambulance?
Sorry, I've really got to go.
She doesn't know how, but she remembered that.
So I guess we're getting somewhere, right?
First, try running it backwards. Let's see what happens if we reverse time and rewind the VHS.
Because of course, pseudo plot convenience, that will work.
The hell?
Oh my god. Doctor, are you there?
So they tell him that there's something inside the shape, and it's the TARDIS, and something is wrapped around it. They don't know what it is. So clearly whatever it is, since that's the same TARDIS, has to be wrapped around his TARDIS, because this was his TARDIS from way back when. And then the dude over here keeps saying the probability of a trap is 99% and rising, because that was his thing throughout the entire episode, that it could be a trap.
99% and rising. The trap is here.
I hate to say this, but the shape exists around the TARDIS on VHS, but what if it exists around the TARDIS now, and we just can't see it?
See, that's kind of creepy. I do like that. See, look, you have talent sometimes. It's in there somewhere. So the Doctor tells them to stay away from the TARDIS. Kind of dancing. What in the broken winged bird was that kind of dance? Looks like a human that turned into a bird and doesn't know how to use its wings. Or a bird that had his freaking wings broken and its legs broken as well. And something's chasing after it to eat its ass, and it's like, oh my god, what do I do? And it's just flapping around, that's the only way it can move. She looks like the letter M if it were to turn human and try to walk. Ruby sends her mom away because she's not helping. Then they scan the TARDIS properly. And yes, it registers on the quantum search. Meanwhile, the Doctor is trying to get at Susan, and the creepy factor goes up more as we see the impending danger that they keep teasing.
And my duty, because we know what we've done. The tech billionaires, we've taken your money. While our technology spreads lies, fraud, and riots. But no more. It ends today.
Doctor, to confirm, the TARDIS it's around it.
And what exactly do you plan to do about that?
And I think we can succeed. I hope.
Here we go.
Kate, get Ruby to the time.
What for?
You do not question, you move.
Oh snap, I love that woman.
To that man.
So the old lady starts losing her little marbles on air, questioning who the mysterious man is, Doctor Who, and why she's plagued by bad dreams. Meanwhile, back at the ever-competent unit, the team notices a weird manifestation latched onto the TARDIS, like it's merged with the TARDIS, or something of the sort. And the leader, in a show of misplaced confidence, demands that the entity show itself, because of course, it speaks English.
My name is Kate Lethbridge Stewart, Commander-in-Chief of the Unified Intelligence Task Force, and I demand that you show yourself.
I like how she's scared, but she's also trying to be brave and commanding. This is a phenomenal actress. I don't think we give her enough credit. She does emotes very well. The only person I believe that believes they're clearly in danger is this woman. She's the best actor out of everybody here. Feels like she doesn't even belong in this show, to be honest. She's too good for it. And shockingly, they get a response, but not from this entity. No. It comes from one of their fresh-faced recruits. Big surprise, given that place hires people like it's running a revolving door. So the Doctor hears all that muttering in the background, and he's like, who the hell is that person? They're like, you met her, dude. He's like, no. What's her full name?
It's like, she's possessed.
Kate, who is she?
Harriet, you met her.
Yeah, I know, but what's her full name?
Harriet Harbinger.
Harbinger. The Godsman Harbinger's the one who's ever coming.
What in the world? Oh no, it's the Harbinger, just like that little boy at the piano and the devil chord thing.
Which god?
I dream of skin. I dream of metal.
Oh, the Borg. So when Ruby's in the time window, it takes her back to the Christmas Eve when she was left, and then we get a scene of Harriet. I swear to God, she looks like the freaking Super Saiyan guy. I swear to God, just look at her face. Look at her face, and then look at his face. Same people.
There's something wrong.
And who am I? Yeah, things are not going so well, and they're building up the suspense, and the woman has a click immediately activate in her head, while Super Saiyan 2.0 over here is like completely possessed and presenting the manifestation to everyone with this long-ass title.
There is insensitivity on disaster, and your children will doubt and dread, and standing on high is the mother and father and other of them all.
So they're building all of this up, but I'm guessing it's for people who knew ahead of time what this entailed. For people, the newer generation, and that's never watched the older Doctor Who's, we have no idea what the frick is going on. I mean, it's a good build-up, because now I'm waiting to see what is this thing's name? What are we gonna see? How scary is it?
And set the fire, and one true name forevermore is...
It was the wrong anagram.
So So the doctor says, don't let her touch you. He looks terrified, as he always does. You see, because the doctor is always in a constant state of terror and emotional turmoil, it makes it hard to feel the tremendous impact that it otherwise would have when there are situations like this that warrant that. You can argue that all the other situations warranted it, but he literally cries and is shocked over everything. I don't ever believe he's scared because from the first, third episode? Or no, so the second episode, he was already terrified of something that he faced before, a type of creature that he faced before and had no fear.
Don't let her touch you.
Leave her alone.
You said you were a doctor. What can you try to help?
Tempest the god of death, and by his hand all creation shall fall into dust and ashes and ruin.
Hold on, did they really do that stupid crowd sound effect? I didn't catch it the first time, to be honest, but when his hand was grabbed, oh my god, did they really? Oh my god, they did.
Even some of the most accomplished chefs in America don't have one of these. Your own cookbook. Mary, you'll get one of these.
Why is he just standing there with his eyes filling up like a freaking bladder? I mean, is that the stance he's used to taking? Just marveling at something unfolding before him with his mouth open and ready, as wide as it can go? Like, that's his default look, it feels like, whenever he's in these kind of situations. You know, there's other ways to exhibit fear and terror. You're always in terror, you're always super overly emotional about every single thing. Like, there is a way to be afraid without absolutely losing your shit. And see, I would believe it if the doctor was someone who's completely new to this, but he already said in the Devil's Court that he experienced it all. So why is any of this a shock to him? Like, I'm not saying he's not allowed to feel fear, but at the same time, if he's faced these things before or he's seen things like this before, why would he be scared to the point of freezing in place with his his mouth open? It just makes no sense to me. And then you have the companions acting more like the doctor than he's acting. So she says, I bring Sutek's gift of death there. They later change it to dust of death and never bring up the gift of death again. Okay, sure, maybe that's just a Freudian slip or something. But then look at the doctor here. Okay, so the entire episode is great up until the ending where it's like, okay, would have been great if the thing didn't talk, and if it did talk, that's not the voice I would have chosen for it, because now it doesn't feel scary to me anymore. It looks like a big rat dog thing, and it's cute, but the way that it only has that one mode, that one pose of being wrapped around the TARDIS with one leg down and one leg hugging it, you notice it over and over again. The thing never moves. It never does anything else other than stay with the TARDIS. Sure, why not? I guess. Yeah, and then, okay, you see Ruby's mom coming back, walking back towards her, which is not normal. So all of this is like, all right, they've revealed whatever this thing is. Death, he's this. They've built him up as being so terrible. And now we're like, okay, it was an okay episode. So the ending, it would have been great if he didn't talk, but sure, why not? Episode was fine, right? And then they hit us with the second part of the finale. Oh my God. I have to put this in 2 parts because, to be honest, my brain hurts so bad right now. I'm partly tired, partly not feeling well, I think, after I watched this. So I'm gonna have to do part 2 in a different thing, because I specifically want to separate the two, right? I will give credit where it's due. The majority of the episode 7, or the first part of the finale, was well done. It felt like Russell was taking a lot of inspiration out of horror movie elements like The Ring. My husband mentioned that there was a Terminator story that they were also using with the tech thing. I forgot exactly what he said, but they were using the plot off of that. And it's okay to take inspiration from stuff. I felt like they were also taking inspiration from Avengers with people being snapped out of existence. We still don't know what's going on with this woman, what her significance is, but we gathered that all these things they've been setting up from the beginning of this series, they're gonna conclude it, tied up neatly into a bow, right? Because it's heading somewhere. They're letting us know there's a reason for all of this. All answers will be revealed. So I'm gonna leave this here, and yeah, click on the other one when you're ready to go, but you might need a long break and a bath and some tall glass of milk.
Hush.